Hello dear ones, are you ready to talk about November 2023? I'm going to share with you what I see and feel as the inspiration and the guidance for this month, right? So November, what is ahead of us, or what are we in the middle of? Now you can see in the title that nobody can stop what's coming. There is absolutely no way that what is coming is stoppable. And although some of you might think, oh my goodness, what's coming and what is it we can't stop? I want to share with you what I sense is coming. What's coming is going to be amazing. The future of humanity is going to be amazing. And this will not be stopped by anything. That's my perception and perspective, right? Now, why do I sense this or feel this? Number one is because Earth has already decided that she wants to continue, like the planet itself wants to continue and move forward into a positive direction, becoming a love planet, right? And us humans, we're still quite undecided on the planet as to what way we would like to go. And nevertheless, we will have to make a choice in terms of our progression forward. Because as we know in the universe, things move forward all the time, right? Nothing stays the same. Nothing repeats itself endlessly. Even if they're cycles in motion, they're progressive cycles in motion. Which means we cannot repeat 3D again and again and again without progressing forward at some point. So now November and going forward, this is the year 2023, right? We're in the middle of what we experience right now: chaos, disharmony, war actions, suppressive forces trying to take control in whichever way they can. And this is what humanity experiences right now on a global scale. So we could assume that this is where we're heading. Like, this is what we get more of in the future. And that's not what I see. And that's not what's in the cards for the planet and for humanity. What the chaos and the difficulties, the disharmonies on the planet right now, these events or happenings have as one effect right now very much the confusion of people and fear and searching for leaders who can lead us out of this. But there is another side effect of this, which is actually the main effect, and I want to steer your view and your focus onto that one. What the difficulties will cause, or are already causing and have caused, we have seen this in the last 3 years, is an increase in seeking for truth, seeking meaning. We have never seen an increase like that in the seeking of people, humans, like we've seen in the past 3 years. Never on this planet. Why? Because the chaos outside, the misinformation outside, the sheer flood of information and false information and just stuff like opinions and whatnots that's out there will cause us to turn away from it all, because it's all far too confusing, it's all far too much, and it will cause humans to go back inward, to turn again into themselves, to actually find the answers, because they will not be out there. So that is one side effect, and actually a purpose of all of this that will, in the end, create the new humanity. Because humans that search for deeper meaning, humans that search for truth, humans that search for purpose in all of this, and humans that search for new ways of dealing with problems and conflicts and difficulties, these humans are not going to repeat the cycles of the old, because the seeking and searching will cause them to evolve. And this is exactly what we need. The old human cannot create a new world. The old human has to become new first. And the new, we know this, our state of being creates our reality. The new human, which means tangibly, I mean this, what you do inside in your internal universe, your evolution, your progression forward, your seeking, you being inspired to actually going deeper and going wider and going higher, this is what is going to inspire the new world to appear in our reality, to become manifest. And this is what's happening. So we may think everything is going downhill because everything seems to be in so much chaos and conflict. And there seem to be forces who are absolutely not wanting peace to be there, not wanting freedom to be there. Quite the opposite. They work in the opposite direction. But what it will cause is a desire for more peace, a desire for more freedom, a desire for more connection, compassion, love, togetherness. This is what will actually come out of what we're experiencing right now, every day. So they, the forces who work into the opposite direction or polarity, they may want or focus on increasing fear, which means increasing controllability of humans. But in the end, what it will cause is the desire for the opposite. And when this desire becomes strong enough that nothing can stand in its way, it will manifest. It will break open like the little flower that grows through the tarmac. You may not think that it's possible, but it is. And this is exactly what's happening. Humanity is moving forward into the direction of peace, of true peace and freedom and compassion and spiritual beingness, which means in unity with everything, with the spiritual realms, if you wish, the unseen dimensions, energetic, vibrational realities, in combination with earth realities. That's where we are heading, and nothing will stop this. That's where we're heading. So I can pass this on to you now as you hear more and more in the news about the negative things that are going on the planet, about the suffering, about what we cannot even comprehend people go through. It may seem very hard to deal with it, but there is a silver lining. There is a silver lining because whatever we are going through, some more than others, will lead to us saying no to the old. It will lead to that. And unfortunately, oftentimes humans have to go to the extreme depth of despair and suffering before they actually stand up and say, no more. I decide something different. I'm saying no. It is unfortunate, but oftentimes that's the case. Only when people are pushed to the limits do they actually sum up the courage to stand up for their own truth and to say, I have nothing to lose anymore. Now I will say no. And I will say, clearly tell everyone what I say yes to and what I want. And that will be the only option I'm going to entertain moving forward. The only option. This is what needs to happen. And so a part of the suffering that people go through, like the other side of it, is that they actually start then to sum up the courage and create and build what they do want. And they start the seeking and they realize, I cannot find what I trusted in the outside world before is no longer trustable. I can no longer rely on anything out there. I need to come back in. I need to find the wisdom within. I need to find the connection again to the greater being that I am. I need to seek, because otherwise nothing here makes sense. Nothing makes sense. And what's the worst for humans oftentimes is not suffering, is not what we're going through. It is when suffering seems pointless, when whatever it is we're experiencing seems meaningless and empty. That is most of the time what's unbearable to people. When we have a sense that our suffering has meaning, that there is something in that is of a positive outcome or positive effect, then we can deal with it. We can bear it easier. And I'm sure many of you can relate to this. But when suffering is empty of meaning, that's when it becomes unbearable. And so I want to give you this bigger picture that the suffering the planet is experiencing, like humanity on the planet, and the constraints and the intense pressures, they do make sense. There is a purpose in it. And the encouragement is for each and every one of us to go find this. Find the meaning in it. Find the other side of the coin. And pursue this. Continue the seeking, or start seeking if you haven't done that up until now. No one has to. We are free to do whatever we want. But the conditions on the planet are more and more such that seeking will be encouraged. And so if we can look at the situation on the planet like that, we also know that we are being asked to look at what is it we truly want. What is it we stand for? What is it we're seeking? And if it's truth and freedom and love and peace, let's do this. Now the other aspect to that is, and you hear me say that often as well, but it comes up again now, so I want to share it, is even though you may then clearly say no to one thing, and yes to what you rather want to experience or create with your human brothers and sisters, there is nothing outside of us. Everything happens within the divine creation. So even what we deem the negative forces or the evil events and deeds and happenings, they are still happening within the one divine creation. Nothing is outside of this divine creation. So the thought that I want to leave you with is, even though we are going to polarize and going to turn towards the positive and what we want, and creating that and saying no to what we don't want, we cannot exclude what we don't want and put it into darkness and put it into shame and say, this is bad and this should not be. Because everything is within the divine creation, there is nothing, and there is only one source, which is the divine source. Everything has its place in it, and it serves for every soul, for every energy, for everything in it, to weave its way through the preferences. And so there is a difference between judgment and preference. Everything can be on the planet. But when we notice we do not wish cruelty, we do not wish suppression, we have the preference towards freedom, free will, and supporting each other, and compassion and companionship with fellow humans, that's our preference, then the only thing we notice is that's our preference, because that's the positive evolutionary path back to source, which is unity consciousness, which is respecting the free will of everything and everyone. Free will is a primal concept of the source, right? Free will and love, and then light. So this is these are the attributes of the positive polarity, the positive path. So when you notice this, there is no judgment against the negative path, which is service to self, which is I'm my own God and I'm not connected to all of you, and I can use you for my own satisfaction and for my own power and for my own gratification. That's the negative path. There is nothing wrong with this, because this path is also exploring the one divine creation. But you can notice your own preferences and then follow them. Follow them. Not judging the others who follow something else, but realize all is me. But what I get to experience and choose here is the path of the positive polarity, the path of unity consciousness, the path of service to others, the path of the light. That's my preference, purely because it is. And I'm going to follow this. And this is what I'm bringing into the world. And this is what we're doing right now. Otherwise, you wouldn't watch a video like this, right? So take this as an encouragement to empower yourself to realize again the power that is within you. It's the power of the Creator. All of us have it within us. And let's move consciously forward into creating our new world, which is unstoppable, incoming. I'm going to love you and leave you for today. And we'll talk again next time, if you want to.